Hello, another box opening video. Shocked? I'm not. At this point, I think we all know my self-control is basically non-existent. Anyway, this time I picked up a UFdoll 1/4 girl body, or I think it's called the lady body, and I think it's also called the Nannan body. Here's the best part. I only paid about $29.95 for this doll, plus about $24 shipping. That's around like $50 total, which is kind of insane considering I've seen these bodies on eBay and Mercari for about $150. So for once, I feel like I made a smart financial choice by waiting and buying direct. Now, the first thing I noticed when I opened this box, she's heavy. Like, heavier than I expected. And the material feels different compared to the other UFdolls I own. And this one has more of a resin-like weight and density to it. As opposed to the other dolls, which felt light and more, I want to say plasticky, but a cheap plasticky. This feels really good. The quality is good. Anyway, she stands like a dream, solid as a rock. The posing is really nice, and honestly, I think this body is a big improvement over the other 1/4 girl body, which I don't have, I've never owned, I've just seen pictures of it. Then again, I was never a fan of that one because it leaned a little bit more toward the childlike kind of vibe, and I don't really like childlike. Now, I didn't know what these parts were for, but I figured it out later on, so we'll see later on in the video. Like I said, when I picked this up, she was quite hefty. Very solid. I like the fact that it's kind of like resin-like, but I feel like if you dropped it, it wouldn't like snap. It would give a little bit before it broke. Anyway, we're just gonna go through and bend everything, see how she poses. And she has that under boob joint, which is to me far superior than a rib cage joint. And like I mentioned before, she holds a pose great. She is solid. What I am curious about is how well this doll stains and how well it sands. Her chest leans forward quite a bit. In most dolls, the chest joint is useless. Now let's engage this thigh joint. Another thing I want to say about this doll is that it seems to be cast in all in one piece, or the parts do. The other UFdolls were molded in several different pieces and then like glued together, and you can tell because there are very prominent seams. This doll, however, I can't find any seams on it. It's all smooth and one solid piece. Typical knee peanut joint. It's the hidden knee kind, not the 3-part segment knee. Anyway, we're going to weigh a resin doll. This is the one I just got that you've seen in the last video. Mind you, UFdolls are weirdly light. They're lighter than a typical resin doll. It's weird. You know, the new resin, or the new UFdolls anyway. Okay, 1 pound, 0.2 ounces. And this is 1 pound, 3.6 ounces. So it is indeed heavier than a resin doll. But like I said, with doll is weird, they have a really light resin. Now, this head is what I really bought this body for. This is the Connie Boom Shinyin head. I'm gonna need a pair of pliers for that. Oh, and see, that is what the insert is for. It's a little bit smaller than the current insert in there. So I'm guessing you can take that bigger one out and put the smaller one in just in case you need a smaller S-hook. That's just my theory. I don't know if it's true or not. I think these two work very well together. And I think I will use this body for this head. And the skin tones aren't that far off. Now I tried several different heads. This is the Doll Chateau Allen. The neck hole's a little small, so it can kind of work. Now you can find all of these pictures, I took pictures by the way, on my Flickr account. Overall, I'm really happy with this purchase. The only shocker was how heavy she is. Heavier than some of my UFdolls, and they're usually feather light with their resin. Weird, I don't know. The only downside is UFdoll doesn't release these very often, and when they do, it's usually in shades of white. Like I had to buy this one in a shade of white because that's all they offered. I think these are injection molded, so I think they have to be made in large batches, which probably also limits the color options. I used to be strictly pro resin, but if UFdoll, and other companies, if they pop up, keep producing bodies this solid with nice sculpts, I might change my mind. All I ask for is more colors and maybe a little bit more availability. Until then, I'll be over here waiting for the next batch like a hungry little goblin.